All right, folks, welcome back to episode 4 of the CGT podcast. What is up there, Rob?
What's going on, Tom? How was the weekend?
It's good, man. It was good. I got out and played. Didn't go great.
No,
Yeah, real weird experience, to tell you the truth.
Saturday or Sunday?
It was Sunday.
Ooh, good weather.
Yeah, it was Sunday. Great weather. Weather was beautiful. Played at a course I haven't played in probably 15 years. Broken Arrow
Oh,
out in Lockport. Yeah. Dog track for sure.
27 holes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A range, but the range is closed. The pro shop was virtually empty. It was just really strange, man. It just like an odd, bizarre day. And then, we got stuck behind some older gentlemen that, we pretty much weighed in on every shot, but still managed to get done in like 4 hours and 20 minutes in a foursome. So, I can't complain. It was a great day. Weather was beautiful, and it unfortunately didn't go out, the way I wanted to, but it's probably a wrap for the 2021 season here.
Well, I mean, Sunday was so nice. You couldn't pass up swinging clubs outside anyways. So,
Yeah, right. Did you get out?
no, but I did do the old sit in the garage, clean the clubs, and go through the old bag and get it all ready.
Yeah.
It's a little tinkering. So,
The end of the year ritual.
the end of the year ritual. Yep.
Yeah. I got my bag sitting right there. My stinky, dirty ass towels. It was draped over. I can't wait to wash that.
The gloves were bad.
Yeah. And then it's always fun to, see what you find in your bags, in your pouches, I should say.
I did find a nature value bar.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
I saw your little post on the Snickers. That was nice.
On the what?
On the Snickers with your Snickers.
Yeah, I tagged you in it on Sunday.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great Snickers. The dog, not so much. I got 2 dogs at the turn.
2 dogs.
I failed to mention that. I'm usually a 2-dog guy.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bold move right there. 2 dogs.
Listen, man, I just need some substance where I'm not thinking about food. I just need to like fill my belly, and then like
Get the fuel.
and then I just focus on the back 9, and like if I'm thinking about food, I'm in a different world. So, but no, yeah, cleaning the old bag and getting those things, put away for the year is it's always fun. But as you know, we'll be out here, on Thursdays letting it rip. So, we'll go from divots and mud in the grooves to the green mark on the bottom of the sole. That pisses me off at like the range.
Oh yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, that drives me bananas.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it the certain type of mat you have?
Yeah, actually. So speaking of, I saw on Twitter. Do you follow Lou Stegner, the guy who does like a bunch of stats and stuff like that?
No.
He's on.
I follow Justin Ray for the stats, but
yeah, he's an unbelievable follow. Basically, he's all about like, managing his hashtag is manage your expectations. He'll put out tweets like the one yesterday or this morning was, from 100 yards out, out of 5 shots, Tiger Woods misses the green 20% of the time. Like, amateurs, why are you getting upset when you miss the green? Like, man.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did see that tweet. No, you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's really good. Anyhow, he was looking for some type of mat. And I said, hey, call your local simulators, that are in your area. What a lot of them do is they'll buy large rolls just because it's cheaper than buying, individual mats, and then they'll cut them to size. And then once they wear out one side, they throw it in the back and they try to sell them. So IGLA Ace out in Orland. I went out there. I was like, hey, do you guys sell used mats? And he's like, actually, yeah. So it's super heavy duty too. I mean, normally these mats online are like anywhere. I've seen them from $160 to like 240,
Yeah.
selling them for 60 out the door.
Come on.
Yeah, super heavy duty, like 2.5 inches thick. One side's worn out, but you have one side, basically you have three other sides because they're so big, you could just keep turning it. So that's the steal if you guys are in the mat market right now.
Who did I see on Twitter with was it Matt that put one in is that his garage?
Chernowski, yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that. Yeah. What was that? Was that last week's episode? Yeah. He just tagged us on Twitter. What was that? 2 days ago? Looks good.
Yeah, looks sharp.
Yeah. He said he didn't even really plan on doing it. He like took some stuff down off the wall, and then the next thing you know, he went down a rabbit hole. So good for him.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's got a nice little workout room. Look like, right next door, and TV. He's got a good setup.
Yeah, should be good for the tour next year.
Oh yeah, he said he's coming for the top spot.
Oh wow, there you go.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, we have a doozy of an episode today, and we're talking handicapping.
Oh, great topic.
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
Not everyone's favorite, but everybody turns into handicap police. You know as well as I do, the DMs, once the leaderboard gets posted, the DMs get hot. The emails get hot. Yeah, so we're talking handicap, Rob. We're talking World Handicap System. We're talking USGA, which is, well, actually CDGA is one of the 59 allied associations under the USGA. And now everybody falls under the World Handicap System, which is widely used. It's pretty universal.
Yep.
It was a great move, I think, just to make things a little bit more clear, although it's not very clear. Yeah. So let's talk handicap. Get into
how we use it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, general handicapping, specifically because we're in Illinois, and, one of our requirements is that, you use CDGA. CDGA takes 8 of your last 20 rounds.
Yeah.
That's how your handicap is determined. How we do it at the CGT is, well, one, if you're a new member, so guys coming in for 2022, I hate to break it to you, but we don't know yet. And quite frankly, we don't know if your handicap is justified. It's legitimate. I mean, it's typically what most private clubs do for like a member guest. When the guest comes on or the guest comes into the tournament and he's like a 7, people are blatantly pretty open about it. And they're like, well, hey, fuck you. We don't know you. So you're going to play at a 4.
Right.
So that's pretty much how we do it. We have a threshold. It's 2. So whatever you come in at. So if you come in at a 9, you're going to play at a 7. If you come in at a 7, you're going to play at a 5. For typically the first 2 events, I've only seen it last longer on a couple guys for 3 or 4 events, but that's how we do our initial vetting process, by deducting you 2 strokes. So what else we do in terms of handicapping is, well, it's changing in 2022, but
yeah, we'll change that.
Yeah, 18 plus handicaps. So this discussion went back and forth, and this could be a separate episode, to be quite frank. in the beginning, we went back and forth about allowing, people with 18 plus handicaps to play at the full handicap. And really it was pretty clear. I mean, it was unanimous, I would say, that, we just didn't think it was fair to other guys to allow somebody to get 2 strokes a hole during tournament play.
Right.
So that's how that came about. I think it was definitely the right call. I think what we're doing in 2022 next season to open it up to 18 plus handicaps so that they can play at their full handicap in the E-flight is definitely going to be beneficial. But going back, so we deduct new members. So obviously, if you were a new member last year and you're playing your second year in 2022, obviously you'll just come in at your normal handicap. So I think there's just a lot of confusion around just the word handicap. I think people think they tend to know what it means, and they don't. I think a lot of people think it's your average. It's not. Handicap is solely your potential.
Right.
And it's a very modest potential, I might say. The best analogy I ever heard, and I believe it was my guy Swains, shout out Swains, and I think he got it from a guy who basically said, if you really want to know what somebody's handicap is, and this is somebody, most likely you've been keeping a handicap for many, many years, so for example, I'm a 6. He said, add 4 strokes to that. So I'd be a 10.
Right.
And then that's typically what I would shoot. And that's pretty correct. I shoot around 80 all day.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know why that hasn't been implemented. I mean, for the most part, everybody that I've talked to, all the handicaps that I look at all day, it's pretty spot on compared to your scores. Then it would be more like an average.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not. And it's all based on potential. So with that being said, as a 6, yeah, I shoot around 80s all day. Now, with my potential, do I have the ability to shoot 75, 76? Sure. But that's not what handicap is. It's not your average. It's all based on your potential. So a lot of guys seem to focus on that for whatever reason. And then another thing too is along with your handicap, there's this thing called course handicap. So when you go play a specific course, depending on what your handicap is, there's a calculation for it. And actually, I'll bring that up now so I get better communicate this. So this is straight from the USGA website. So course handicap calculation. So that's determined. Course handicap equals handicap index times slope rating divided by 113 plus course rating minus par. So Rob, if you're, what are you, a 9?
Yeah, like an 8 point something.
Right. So you go play, say, Bowes Creek, right?
Yep.
Whatever Bowes Creek's course rating is, slope rating, whatever. I'm not even going to throw out a number to confuse people. Anyways, what your course handicap essentially means is how many strokes you're getting at that course.
Right.
If we just want to dumb it down.
Sure.
That's determined based on this equation right here. This all could be found on the USGA website. And there's a handicap home, rules of handicapping, which we're in, the course handicap calculator, where you guys can come on here and see for yourself if, what we have on our website is correct. You guys can enter in your info here and calculate. And then once you calculate, it will actually bring up an entire course handicap, or excuse me, playing handicap calculator to give you more numbers there. But
I know we can, also they can double check when we use the CDGA, which is nice too, the app.
Yeah. So only thing about CDGA is a lot of their software, a lot of their numbers, and well, let's just start here. A lot of their shit's outdated. So, but to their point, a lot of course information, believe it or not, is like it's very well hidden, and I don't understand that. I know you've been on some calls with LBK
Mhm.
where we pretty much are like, why isn't this stuff so like very easily
Right.
accessible?
I think it's crazy when courses don't have their scorecards digitally on their website.
I'm gonna try it. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
It's like it's not hard. It's really not.
Well, yeah, that, and it's like, well, why aren't you doing it? Like, what are you hiding? Is there something like, gimmicky about the course? Is there, is it short and you don't want people to know it, or is it long? You don't want people to know that? Like, what information on that scorecard do you not want people to know?
Man, you're really drilling down on that one, aren't you?
Yeah, it pisses me off really bad. I mean, I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, if I go play a course, I'd like to know what I'm getting into before I go play.
Right.
Especially a new course. I like the night before, I like to look at the scorecard and kind of, visualize like what I'm going to be seeing.
Well, I know we talked about it before, but that if you haven't been on the site for the club at Lockhart Bell, that course that we talked about in Wisconsin, their whole course overview is the craziest thing I've seen on a website. It's awesome.
I'll have to check that out. Course overviews are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it gets dragged out a little bit after like 4 or 5 holes. You're like, okay, I've seen enough.
Right. Or the music that plays along with it.
Yeah, mainly, but like, um, yeah, I mean, so, but to your point, yes, they could go look at the CDGA app. There's a course calculator on there as well. Just make sure the info from that course, the specific set of tees we're playing, that event, are correct, the yardage and stuff like that. Because we've had a couple events, and primarily, if I remember, there was always, I think it was Balmoral and one other
Is
where
it George Dunn? I thought it was always George Dunn for some reason.
maybe where CDGA has the wrong info. So last year, some things got messed up with that. We had to recalculate everything, whatever. Blue Golf pretty much is like the leader in the industry, I would say, on having all of the club information available, but still, like, some of it doesn't match up with the club's scorecard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a weird game, man. I don't understand like why it has to be so difficult to find, or like, I don't know. But anyways, um, speaking of sets of tees, that also determines your course handicap. So we've had a lot of guys, especially in the survey, especially at the championship, um, say, hey, listen, and obviously this is not factual. This is just my personal opinion. They would say one of the things was, hey, you know, we guys with higher handicaps should be playing from shorter tees, instead of it being age based like how we do it. To me, I don't agree with that. I still think there's long hitters that are just bad players. I think primarily it's more of a physical inability to hit the ball long, hence when you're 55 or 65. Um, to me, I don't think that is fair. And the other thing is, if I'm moving you up, you're essentially losing strokes anyways. So I don't understand really the argument there. Because based on the set of tees that we play in an event, also dictates your handicap. Speaking of PCC, playing conditions calculator, that's also what goes into account. So if you go play on a shitty 20-mile-an-hour rainy day, right, and you post a score that's, say, whatever, X, it's 3-4 strokes over than what you typically shoot. Well, PCC takes into account your location. So it will know that you played in some shitty weather. So it will adjust that based on the score you posted.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. I
That
thought
started last year, right?
yeah, I thought that was probably one of the best things they introduced with the World Handicap system, along with the daily revisions uh, for us too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean the daily revisions are huge,
yeah,
absolutely huge.
year one we were that was insane.
Year 1 and 2.
No, was it two? No,
Maybe
no,
was it just year 1?
just year one. So I don't think, yeah, no, it's just year one. Because I had, well, it might have been year two, but I had everybody's CDJ info, so I didn't need to wait for the revision. So I can't remember. But what we're getting at is year one, when we pretty much allowed, any handicap system. Well, it was still under 2-week revisions, and you know who you are if you're not an email guy. If you're not an email guy, you never sent me your 2-week revision. So then when the tournament came about and you'd email me, hey, why is my playing handicap NA? Well, your playing handicap is NA because you never sent me your revision. Therefore, I can never give you a playing handicap. So that was a nightmare year one. We had guys using Grint, fairway files, Diablo. It was crazy. So that's when we made the decision, if anybody's ever curious, to go. That's why we made CDJ mandatory year two, so that we could just simply pull everybody's handicap. It was all in one place. It literally made our life so much easier. But going back to PCC, so yeah, that's all accounted for when you play on specific, inclement weather days. And then the daily revision is awesome because you play, you post your score that day, and then the very next day your handicap is revised. So
update index.
Yeah, it's so much more up to date. It's real time. You don't have to wait, 2 weeks to get a true handicap. But that's pretty much the gist of handicapping. We could dive into it. We just wanted to give a brief overview. I would highly suggest going to USGA and going to the rules of handicapping, as well as the rules of golf, which we'll get to actually next episode. But I thought I'd share a story with you from, let's see, was it this past year or the year before? Anyhow, I had this guy, I think it was this past year. And like I said previously in the beginning of this episode, the handicap police are a real thing. Like, when you see it on in Riggs's comment on Barstool, and you're like, dude, this guy just gets beat down with comments. And part of it is I can't help myself. I'll let it roll off for like a couple minutes, but if it's something very specific and I know what this guy's getting at, then it just eats at me. So I can't help myself. So this guy, he made up a fake email. The thing is, he emailed me like all year, right? And then he went dark.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was like, where are you getting at with this? Now I see. Okay.
Yeah. So then he created a fake email account, but he still complained about the same thing and the same people. So I basically was like, hey man, listen, I'm not gonna talk to you like this anymore. Like, you could either call me, we could meet up for like a coffee, or like, you could just email me like a normal person instead of, creating a fake email account to literally bitch about somebody that's on your tour. So it's very real. I mean, it happens. Again, I think there's a lot of misconception with handicapping in general, I don't think people fully understand. Like, for instance, the table that we sent out, the last 2 years,
Right.
it was actually published in the CDGA magazine. But it's like the odds of, this handicap shooting this and so on and so forth. You could find that in our player handbook. And another guy telling me that basically what he did is he added up all of one other guy's, the guy he was complaining about. He took all of those guys' scores, put them in a pot, and then added them up cumulatively, and then divided that to get his playing odds. And I'm like, listen, man, that's not how it works. That you cannot do that. Like, that's just preposterous that you think that even remotely close to how it worked. So there's just little things like that that have made me laugh over the years. But we definitely get our fair share of, this guy's full of shit. He's not a 7.
I think people to, take the championships or the playoffs, there's nerves,
That's a whole different conversation too.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying, people call like, oh, this guy can't be a 7, at the championship and stuff like that. But there's, it's all different circumstances.
To your point though, people handle playing in that pressure, that type of environment way differently too. Like,
Yeah.
there's some guys that literally don't mind it, and there's other guys that completely shit the bed.
Yeah.
They just can't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's primarily why we, we're a pretty big advocate of the pods.
Mhm.
To get you in that tournament like atmosphere, playing with maybe somebody you didn't know. That was the whole reasoning behind it, is to get you out of your comfort zone. That's another thing that's changing next year. Basically, you're just gonna have to play with a new attester for each major, and we're gonna call it like that. More to come on that, but yeah,
Stop giving stuff away, man.
I know. It's hard for me, man. I told you I can't help myself.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And don't get me wrong, there was some other guys that definitely knew what they were talking about and brought up some good points. It again, we had 494 guys, like a lot of, and then here's another thing too, is the community policing of the CGT is real. There's definitely guys that email us all the time, like, hey, just let you know, this guy never posted his competition. Okay, thanks. Like, I love that. Like, I'll never get upset at anybody for that.
Right.
You're not necessarily calling somebody out, but you're being very aware of this guy, and for whatever reasons. Like, I've played before and have posted on LBK and have forgotten to post my CDGA. Like, it happens, but a lot of people are optimistic. They might see something another way, like, hey, maybe that guy's not posting for a reason. So there's definitely little things that go into it, but for the most part, over the last 3 years, we haven't had too many issues. I think we kind of nipped that in the butt pretty early in the year.
Mhm.
And then the things that have happened, throughout the year have been taken care of, whether that's been adjusted handicap or a disqualification or the boot. So,
Right.
I mean, and here's the other thing too. It's not as easy to just look at somebody's revisions and say, hey, that guy's essentially a sandbagger. Like, it's not that easy. There's a lot that goes into it. Like Rob was saying, you could get a guy that will go out and shoot, 2 strokes better in his handicap, and then, turn around the next day and shoot +8. Typically, I would say, just based off of that example, that guy's probably a mid to high handicapper, but it happens because their
Right.
their variability is much greater. So, dude, I even this year there was a lot of wild things that happened, and some scores we literally called the attester, and we're like, "Hey, man, so you played with so and so? Cool. Walk us through that round. Let us know how it went. What did he get on hole 4? Do you remember that?" I mean, that's part of what Rob and I do, you know, in the dark alley is we have to play detective, and seriously, that happens. We want to know, people are obviously are one, you know, honoring the game and how it's meant to be played, and listen, we're all a little bit older. Like,
Right.
if you're looking to come in and pull some shenanigans or whatnot, like, it's not the place for you.
Right.
Um,
I mean, when there's money involved and everything like that, everybody likes to keep everybody honest, which they should. So,
absolutely, and that's fine. You want to go rake putts in a buddy's game, on a Tuesday. That's not a tournament round. Go for it, by all means. Have at it. Network with some guys, have beers, whatever. Have a good time. But if it's a tournament round and you're raking putts, or not following the rules of tournament golf, and somebody calls you out that you're playing with, you shouldn't act like they're coming for your throat. You should be like, "Oh, hey, thanks. I didn't know that rule. Do you mind if I correct it?" Something along those lines.
right.
Like, we're not the PGA Tour at all. We're not even
No, no.
we're not even close. But we're playing tournament golf. We're playing by the rules of tournament golf. So, as you mentioned, there's money involved. So you're expected to adhere to a certain set of rules and a certain way of doing things, which brings me to a point. Now that I mentioned raking putts, what's with, like, this is another pet peeve of mine. In the last, like, 3 to 5 years, for some fucking reason, people have, like, almost praised raking putts because of pace of play.
Yeah.
And to me, I just don't get that.
Yeah. I mean, like what you talk about when you're playing with your buddies or Tuesday, it's part of the game. I get putting everything out, and I agree with you. Especially when it comes to tournament play, I think everything obviously has to be putted.
Well,
So,
I think this whole pace of play thing kind of, gave us guys who play the game. And don't get me wrong, I don't always play tournament rule golf. Like on Saturday, we were playing a Scotch game, and we were doing like 2-foot gimmies, whatever. That's fine. I
mhm,
do it all the time. But in a tournament round, in majority of the time, I'm playing the game of golf. I don't even need to say tournament golf. I'm just playing the game of golf where
mhm.
I'm finishing the hole.
Right.
And I don't get why that's been so, like, frowned upon lately in the last 3 years, in order to speed up your pace of play. Well, you're not even playing the real game if you're doing it that way, in my eyes.
Some people just don't like a 5-hour round in golf, man.
I get, but that's not even me tapping in my 2-footer is not causing you to have a 5-hour round.
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah. So anyways, that's just another one of my little things. I hear it a lot on podcasts, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's how it's meant to be, man. It ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hey, I could see. I can't wait to hear your list of gripes you have with golf.
It's a long one. Not really, to be honest. But moving on. Are you ready for the top 3?
I'm ready for the top 3. It's between 2 questions for you, Tom,
What do you
today.
got for me?
Well, here, let's determine this. I forgot. When did you start playing golf? When did you really start playing it?
Like when I took it up seriously,
Yeah,
22.
22. Okay. I'll save that question for later then. All right. So the question I'll go with tonight is, what are the 3 must things you need to have in your golf bag?
In your golf bag, huh? Okay. I like this one.
I mean, it fits with just clearing out my golf bag too. So,
okay. Like besides the necessary stuff, you're just talking about.
I'm not talking like golf balls or tees. What are 3, maybe if you call them knickknacks, what are 3 things that you need to have in your golf bag for each round?
I need to have a lighter in my couch,
Okay.
whether that's for recreational use or for a nice cigar.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. Plus, I always feel like, there's always somebody, especially a cigar guy, who's like, hey,
Right.
there's always somebody looking for a lighter.
Sure.
So that's always nice to have, especially you never know, man. You might need it, in survival mode at some point. The bag's in your car, you got a lighter in your car.
I think that's a great one.
What else do I got in there? I have bug spray. I think can I put bug spray slash
Sunscreen?
sunscreen
Sure.
in one?
Yeah. 2A, 2B. Yep.
Yeah, I think those are both huge.
Yeah.
Although I don't really wear, you'd be surprised, I don't really wear a ton of sunscreen. I probably should. I hope she's not listening. I don't know. I always told myself this is just a huge lie, but ever since I was down in Florida, I'm like, oh, I gave myself like a base tan.
Oh, there you go.
That was literally, probably 14 years ago. So
one good burn and you're set for life.
yeah, I mean, if I do put it on anywhere, it's like my neck and that's about it. My ears, my head, so I don't get, melanoma up here, although you can get it anywhere in your body. But anyways, I actually think bug spray is more important, not healthcare wise, but for me, more important. Bug spray is huge. You gotta
the nets putting in the morning are terrible. I hate that.
Brutal. So yeah, you got to have some DEET in your bag. And then, so I would probably say bug spray, sunscreen in the 3-hole. I would probably go lighter in the 2-hole. And then, I would probably go speaker, number 1. You always, for me, unless, so I don't really like to have music on when I'm playing a tournament round.
Really?
Yeah, if I'm there with a suit on, man, I'm there for business. I'm not, I can't, I feel like if I start listening to music, then I start drinking claws and then I start doing some other stuff. And then like my mind is just, it's everywhere.
So you don't think about food. You just have 2 hot dogs when you play to fuel up, and you don't like music because you don't want to think about music when you're playing tournament play.
I love music. Don't get me wrong. I love music. Like if we're with the boys and it's an outing or whatever, blasting music all day.
Okay.
Hip hop barbecue. That's a Pandora station, by the way, if anybody's wondering. It's a great one. Then typically like ZBB is my channel. But yeah, don't get me wrong. Love music. Love tunes on. Shout out Bushnell Wingman. That thing's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, that thing is pretty sick.
Yeah, super sick. But if we're talking like, hey, this is my official round, no, I don't want music on. I want to know what that guy's at on the hole. I want to know where I'm at in the round. I just have a lot of between the ears going on.
There you go.
Yeah. How about you?
Solid 3. That is a solid 3. Man, you threw me off of that speaker because I feel like a speaker is a must.
It's a must.
So that's going to have to knock off my 3rd, and that'll probably be my 3rd. The speaker would be in the 3 slot. Number 2 would have to be the old Gold Bond. Big walker, need that. Don't like playing without that now. And then number one would have to be a leave. Pop 2 or 3 of those right before the round. Being old.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Do you have your oatmeal prior to or after?
Afterwards. Don't want that heaviness in the stomach, playing.
I don't hate it. You know what? It's honestly it's better than your last top 3. That's so let's recap. Your 3 was speaker.
Speaker.
Your 2 was
Gold bond.
oh yeah.
The stick too, the deodorant stick one, not the powder, the deodorant stick.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's
a game
more,
changer.
That's
a game
more,
changer.
That's more intimate.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were in the trust tree right now.
Honestly, I didn't even know they made.
Oh, not many people do. It's great. They just came out with it for last season. It's awesome. Ask Vince, man. He's a big advocate of the gold bond, especially when he slings the Cubs games.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this out. Yeah, I'm pretty lazy. I don't like walking. I will.
Even in big guy weather when it's July, sitting there sweating your ass off.
Yeah, I mean, I like walking when I'm at a country club with a caddy who has my bag. I'll walk all day.
Yeah,
that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I do not enjoy carrying my own bag.
Oh no, I don't care that anymore. Did the old Click Air, greatest investment I made.
Oh, push cart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what my brother says too. But I don't know, man. I feel like when I carry my own bag, I have so much going on. Like I put it down, and then I have clubs everywhere. I had like
you're just a simple man that doesn't like distractions. No music, no. You want to be in your element in your game. I get it.
I want to be zoned in, but
I get it.
No, I mean I definitely enjoy people who like to walk. I think I used to like to walk, which is crazy, and then I went from like absolutely not doing it unless I'm in a country club for sure. Obviously, I have no choice, but no. And then again, it depends what time of the day we're talking about, like who you're playing with. Like if I'm at a cottage and I'm up there with like 7 buddies, yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Maybe even grab like 3 clubs and go play a little par 3 course or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, but that was an impressive top 3, I must say. That was a very
I feel like I bounced back a little bit. So
you did.
Hopefully I don't get any clown emojis on social media.
I hope you don't either. I think you definitely redeemed yourself.
All right.
Well, until next time, until episode 5, we got the rules of golf. That's going to be another good one. Maybe another heated moment. But nonetheless, we'll be back and we'll see you guys in the fairway.
See you in the fairway, Tom.
See ya.